Shalom, shalom. Falling Yisra'el, welcome again to the Rock. I have talked about something that a lot of people, you're fear-mongering. And what I talked about in my live stream and in videos was the idea that crime is rising at exponential rates and how these groups and gangs are literally following people home and robbing them. People said, no, that's not happening. You don't know what you're talking about. And people don't realize I have my ear to the ground in these areas. LA Times on yahoonews.com. I will be posting the link in the description. On April 12th, 2022, 17 LA gangs have sent out crews to follow and rob city's wealthiest, LAPD says. I'm going to read a little bit for you. More than a dozen Los Angeles gangs are targeting some of the city's wealthiest residents in a new and aggressive manner, sending out crews in multiple cars to find, follow, and rob people driving high-end vehicles or wearing expensive jewelry, according to police. I told you it was happening. Told you. I have my ears to the ground. And people were like, no, it's not happening. It's not just happening in LA. It's happening in most, if not all, major cities. But it's happening in most of them. I can tell you that. In many cases, they're making off with designer handbags, diamond-studded watches, and other items worth tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, and then peddling them back to black market buyers who are willing to turn a blind eye to the underlying violence, police said. In some cases, the suspects have been arrested but then released from custody, according to police, only to commit more additional robberies. They're calling them follow home or follow off robberies because the victims are robbed soon after leaving luxury boutiques and hotels, ritzy restaurants, trendy nightclubs, and other locations where the gangs are scouting for targets. I told you that it was happening. I told you it's happening also with grocery stores and grocery store purchases. People are going back to their car with a basket full of groceries, and people are jacking them. They're pulling up into their driveways, taking the bags out, taking a couple bags out, going into the house to come back to their car to find their car. The groceries are gone. It's happening right now as you speak. According to Captain Jonathan Tippett, who spearheads the task force, they have a whole task force. Most larger cities have what they call a gang task force. So the task force, police have identified at least 17 gangs, most based out of South LA and operating independently, that are involved. There were 165 such robberies in 2021 and 56 so far this year, he said, including several over the weekend. The area that the most robberies during that time, the LAPD's Hollywood division with 50, followed by 46 that goes into the numbers. And it says through surveillance video and other evidence, police have identified crews rolling 3 to 5 cars deep in some of the attacks, with gang members jumping out and blindsiding victims. There's no chance or opportunity for these victims even to comply. They're just running up to the people and attacking them, whether that's pulling a gun in their face or punching them and beating on them. Pistol whipping them as well, Tippett said. In some cases, police determined that gang members inside high-end venues served as spotters. I told you about that. They have spotters for those outside, alerting them when wealthy targets were heading out. Shots have been fired in 23 cases and 2 victims have been killed, said Tippett, who also has the LAPD's robbery homicide division. See, and you can read the rest of the article. I'll post the description and the link. This stuff is happening. They're following wealthy people home and or following them when they leave areas, and they're jacking them. And this is why I said, in California is a very self-protection friendly state. They want you to rely on calling the police, which is why I advocate getting out of those states in the first place. But for everybody else, it's not just happening in LA. It's happening in major cities all over this country. And how many people are actually being aware of their surroundings? Do you even know? See, the problem is that most people don't know how to go Greyman. They don't know how to go Greyman. They don't know how to operate in a way that does not attract attention to them. Because in this country, you've been told to attract as much attention to you. Men, women, you wear this flashy jewelry, you have this flashy clothes on, you drive a fancy, flashy car. Everything about what you're doing is flashy. These dudes are out there, and they're watching. And they may not get you the first time, but what they do is they watch your habits, they watch where you go, they watch where you go home, they watch which driveway you pull into. Because if you got that stuff on your car, and on your wrist, and on your, what do you have inside your house? And it's happening for food right now. And it's only going to get worse. It's going to continue to fall down as society gets worse. As people continue to turn to sin, to turn to wickedness, it's only going to get worse. And what are you going to do? I say this for you brothers who, you may send your wives to work. Is there a protocol? Have you taught her how to spot? Have you taught her what to look for? Have you taught her to check to see if a car is following her? Have you taught her those things? Can she call you, and is there a meetup spot where you can mutually go to just in case she feels threatened by somebody, so she's not dragging the perpetrator who's following her to the house? Is there a park that you all have a code or an ability to respond to those things? Because a lot of brothers, y'all send your wives go to work, and you have no protocol for them and their protection, the level of protection. None. And why not? Brothers, a lot of y'all will send your wives to go do the shopping. So they go to the grocery store, do the shopping. They leave the grocery store with a shopping cart. And a shopping cart now full, $300-400? So she's leaving the grocery store with a shopping cart full of goods and food and things that other people are starting to not be able to afford. The Bible does say the woman is the weaker vessel. So now what you have is an unprotected sister who is not aware of her surroundings. You haven't taught her that. She doesn't know what to look for. You haven't taught her that. And she's talking on her phone because you haven't taught her to not be on the phone in public. Because everybody looks down now. When you see people today, they're always looking like this. They walk around like this. They walk around with their phone in front of their face, and they have no situational awareness. And remember, it'll never happen to them, right? It'll never happen to them, just like I'm sure those people who got followed home, or left the nightclub, or left the hotel, or left their store, whatever they left. I guarantee you, they did not have one thought inside their head to say, it's going to happen to me. You need to take care of your family. You need to take care of your children. You need to teach your family. Teach your children. That's one of the things that I focus on. I focus on as far as my family is concerned. And even though mine pretty much know my protocol, I continue to teach that. Because you never know when the fight comes. You never know when you're going to be that victim. Because you want to leave out with your flashy car, with your jewelry that's hanging off your neck and your arms. Because you want attention so bad that you might just get the wrong type of attention. Don't let people tell you that all attention is good attention. There's plenty of bad attention. And I'm going to continue to keep saying these things, hopefully, so that a brother or a sister can hear it and avoid these sort of situations. Because whether you like it or not, it's happening. Crews are being sent out to rob and hurt innocent people. Come out of her. Live a quiet and separate life. Be Greyman. Rather than trying to get all the attention, why don't you let the attention go right over you to somebody else who is foolish enough to advertise everything that they got and how they're living? Because these people are watching. I will guarantee you. They are watching. And you don't want to be the fool that's caught up in this stuff. Especially when you've already been warned more than once. Bless y'all. Have a good day. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch your six. Be aware situationally of what is going on around. Shalom.